Hello my friends, my name is Artur and I am an Estonian YouTuber. Imagine you having a one eye, and you still go and liberate entire city. Yes, I think half of you already know what video I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the one-eyed scout who liberated the entire city by himself. Crazy dude called Leo Major. I mean, his family name is Major, so he's probably... And his first name is Leo, Lion. He's a lion major. He belongs in that situation. We're gonna see how he did it. It's a simple history video. I love their style. I like their videos a lot, so it's gonna be fun today. Before we start, I'm gonna read you 3 new Patreons who have supported the channel in the past week. John Cooper, thank you very much. You sound very much American. I think you are American. Thank you from across the bond. Urho Puhto. Well, you are Finnish. You got to be Finnish. Kiitos. Pohjan pojat. Kiitos. Kevin Niven. Thank you. Or is it Niven? I don't know if you're American or not. We have Kevin, or in America it's Kevin. Thank you to those 3 people you guys have supported recently. And I believe in the support of every one of you. So thank you very much from my heart. Also, before we start, I wanna look what this is. Vanemuise. You know what this is? This is a thing I never found in America. Something was wrong. I don't know why. Maybe I went to the wrong store. It's a mineral water. It's really salty. I'm not kidding you, it's not like mineral water you taste nothing. No, it's a salty mineral water. It's from Värska, southern Estonia. My mother lives in that city. It's a very cute small town. A very healthy water. My family roots are from there. And today we're not going to drink green tea, we're going to drink this. And no, they're not paying me for this, although I wish they would. But I love Vanemuise. I bought like... This is how much I love it. I bought a lot of it, because I'm a huge dude and I need my minerals. Let's drink some minerals. Cheerio, mate. Ooh, this is good. Most people don't talk like this about water, but I'm a bit crazy about it. Well, now let's just jump into the video.
Leo Major, the one-eyed scout who liberated a whole town by himself. World War II. In World War II, for the Canadian effort, one soldier stands out from all the rest. Leo Major. He was a French-Canadian from Montreal, Canada. In 1940, at the age of 19, he joined the Regiment de la Chaudière of the Canadian Army. Their insignia underlines their fierce fighting reputation.
Their insignia is 2 miniguns crossed. I mean, how crazy is that? 2 miniguns crossed. It's worse than the pirate flag. And, okay, it's 2 miniguns, and look at this little cute animal here. It's a beaver, or I don't know, it's not a rat, but it's like a, yeah, I think it's a beaver. Super cute, with those miniguns.
Consisting of 2 crossed Vickers machine guns, with a beaver above, supporting the fleur-de-lis. Private Leo Major first saw action at D-Day in France, taking part in the Normandy landings on June 6, 1944. Straight away, he distinguished himself as a scout behind enemy lines by capturing a German communications half-track full of secret code books. He then forced the captured crew to drive the Hanomag towards friendly lines, but was fired upon with anti-tank guns by British and Canadian troops. Leo had to climb on top of the vehicle to get them to stop firing as they drove closer, and later remarked how happy he was that the British and Canadian soldiers didn't know how to shoot.
Oh my god, that's such a burn. I mean, it's true, he didn't die, that means they didn't know how to shoot, but it's such a burn. I'm so happy that the British and the Americans don't know how to shoot. Burn. I mean, wait, I didn't get if he was French or what, because his name is Leo Major. It sounds pretty American to me. I don't know, was he French?
When the English officer asked Leo to hand over the Hanomag, Leo refused outright, stating that it was a Quebec man who captured it, and so it was handed over to the Chaudière Regiment. His war was nearly cut short when a few days later he was scouting ahead of his unit. Leo unexpectedly encountered a patrolling elite Waffen-SS unit. In the ensuing firefight, he managed to kill 4 of the enemy soldiers, but one of them, fatally wounded, managed to throw a phosphorus grenade, and Leo was hit, damaging his left eye badly. Leo was then sent to a field hospital for treatment.
Phosphorus grenade. Phosphorus is forbidden from the First World War. Of course, they made war crimes in the second one, but now it's forbidden throughout the world. And even napalm, I think, now is forbidden after the Vietnam War. So phosphorus and napalm, two ingredients that you cannot use in war anymore, and they still do. If war happens, no one cares, because there's no one to enforce the law. So just don't make war, people. Don't be stupid. Don't attack each other.
Leo had to wear an eye patch while his eye healed, and he remarked on how he looked like a pirate. Remarkably, he refused to be sent home, stating that he only needed one good eye to aim a rifle. Quickly, he returned to the front line and continued to act as a scout and sniper for his unit. Shortly after returning to active service in October 1944, he was involved in the month-long Battle of the Scheldt in Holland, which involved much heavy fighting and several amphibious landings. One day during this prolonged battle, Leo's commanding officer had ordered him to find the 50 zombies who had gone missing on patrol earlier. Zombie was a slang term used by Canadian volunteers for unenthusiastic, inexperienced Canadian conscripts in the war.
That's what you use the word zombie for. Weird. In volunteer, but not motivated. That's a zombie. Yeah, it sounds pretty much like a zombie.
Leo was carrying out the reconnaissance by himself, as always wearing PT sneakers instead of heavy boots. He was deep behind enemy lines, in the dark, in freezing cold rain, muttering to himself, "I am frozen and wet because of you, so you will pay." Drenched to the skin while not finding the zombies, he did come across a garrison of German regular troops, sleeping in trenches that they had been digging all day. Noticing a snoring German officer, Leo woke him up, pointing his Sten gun at him, and then motioned him to order his men to follow him. One soldier raised his rifle and was shot dead by Leo, followed by 3 others who joined the firefight.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I have to say, I feel a little bit bad for the Germans. I've digged those holes. It takes a lot of work to dig a foxhole for yourself. And then you have to sleep in it in the rain. You feel horrible, you're cold, you can't sleep, and then you're taking capture also, so there's no point to your work. I mean, good, Leo Major, good, you're on the Ally side, you're on my side, but it's just, this situation for the Germans is so horrible.
After this, he shouted, "Achtung!" and "Handen hoch!" and the garrison quickly decided to surrender to him.
Okay, I heard about a funny theory that if a documentary a long time ago made, like in the 60s and 70s, when the British said that, yeah, we can get along with German war prisoners as long as you shout very firmly at them. They feel like home and they do what you tell them. So if you shout "Achtung!" da 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 da, they will do exactly as you tell them, which is kind of like racist or whatever, how you call it, but might be true. Don't kill me if it's true. I'm sorry. I'm just intermediating what I heard.
He then single-handedly marched 93 German soldiers back to the Allied lines. But on the way there, they were attacked by Waffen-SS troops manning an artillery battery from a neighboring village, who were infuriated that their fellow countrymen were surrendering. This left a lasting impression on Leo.
Ooh.
The Waffen-SS unit managed to kill and injure a number of the German prisoners before being driven off by an Allied Sherman tank. Leo then handed over 93 German prisoners to his speechless commander. For his act of bravery, Leo was awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal, which is the second highest award in the British and Commonwealth, the Victoria Cross being the only one higher. But surprisingly, he declined the medal, feeling the British commander, General Montgomery, who was going to present him with the award, was incompetent and therefore in no position.
What? Leo is a bit stupid. What? You feel like the leader of the army is a bit unconfident, so you don't take the medal. I don't see how that sends the message. It doesn't. You have, unless you like say it publicly that I feel that he's not fit for the job, therefore I decline the medal. This is not the best way to say that your superiors are not fit for the job, by declining a reward. I'm confused.
To give him that medal. Then in February 1945, as his unit was fighting in the Rhineland in Germany, the Bren gun carrier he was traveling in hit a mine, wrecking the vehicle and killing all its occupants, except Leo. He was severely injured, including 2 badly broken ankles, 4 ribs, and his back in 3 places.
Ooh.
Leo again refused to be shipped back home, and after a short spell in a Belgian hospital, he returned to his unit in time for their final attack to clear Holland of the last of its German occupiers. So, on April 13, 1945, the Allies were preparing to attack the large Dutch town of Zwolle, but were unsure of the strength or deployment of the German forces in the town. That evening, Leo and his friend Corporal Willie Arsenault volunteered to carry out a recon of the area. The city was planned to be bombed by Allied artillery, and this is something Leo and Willie wanted to prevent. When the two approached the outskirts of the silent town, the Germans spotted Willie after his grenade bag made a rattling noise, and he was killed by enemy machine gun fire. Leo took two of them out, but the others fled in a vehicle. He then took his friend's Sten gun, an extra bag of grenades, then laid his lifeless body on the side. So enraged was Leo that he would go on a one-man rampage that lasted the whole night, using his submachine gun and bags full of grenades. He hijacked a nearby German scout car, disarming the driver and taking his MP-40, adding a third submachine.
This is like straight out of Hollywood. These things don't really happen. How are these people usually... Simple History makes a lot of these videos like this. One man goes on a rampage, the Green Beret, the Gurkha in the Vietnam. How do they find these guys? They're straight out of Hollywood.
Gun to his inventory. Leo made him drive to a hotel, then entered a bar. There he disarmed a German officer who could speak French to Leo, and he made him aware that the town was to be bombed by Canadians.
He's just disarming everybody, just like boom, boom, I'm disarming you, everybody, give me your guns, because I'm Leo Major.
In artillery, which would result in German military and civilian casualties. The officer understood, and in good faith, Leo handed him back his pistol, allowing him to drive off in the hopes that he would evacuate his troops, rather than rally an attack. Leo moved around the town for a few hours in the dead of night, firing on any German units he came up against, throwing grenades and making as much noise around town as possible. His idea was to confuse the enemy into believing that they were under attack by a far larger Allied force storming the city. He proceeded in killing or capturing German defenders as he moved from street to street, using the local river and church as reference points so as not to get lost. Every time he had enough prisoners, normally between 8 to 10, he would march them back to the Allied lines and drop them off, before returning to the town to carry on his one-man assault. He is reckoned to have done this around 10 times. 4 times in the night he had to force his way into civilian houses to rest. Although terrified by his initial appearance, once they understood he was Canadian, they looked after Leo. During his rampage, he also attacked and set light to the Gestapo headquarters, further adding to the confusion. Then, finding the SS headquarters, he engaged in a firefight, killing 4 SS officers inside. Then, later, Leo came across a group of townsmen by chance. This included a local policeman by the name of Frit Kuiper. All of these men were secretly members of the Dutch resistance. Leo then explained to them that the town was liberated. Then the group went on to take the town hall and bring the civilians out onto the streets. By 4:30 a.m., the German garrison had fled the town, and Leo had single-handedly liberated Zwolle. Leo retrieved his friend Willie Arsenault's body and returned to his unit, who had yet to advance into the town. On that morning of April 14th, the Allied...
Sometimes in War Machine moves really slowly. The companies, the units, they move super slowly. They need orders, they need plans. Sometimes one man is much quicker and much more efficient than the whole company. Because I think if they would have attacked the small town with the companies, there would have been a lot of casualties on both sides, I think. But now, well, there were a lot of casualties on German side, but still, sometimes this happens in war. But the opposite could have happened also. Leo is enraged, he goes and boom, he gets shot in the head. Like in the movie Tuntematon Sotilas, the Finnish movie, when it showed that, yes, it can happen, but also the opposite can happen. When you think you're the hero, you're doing it, then you just get shot. So yeah, don't get any ideas.
Allied forces entered the town without a shot being fired, and without the loss of civilian life from the planned bombardment, due to Leo's outstanding bravery the previous night. For his heroism above and beyond the call of duty, he was again awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal, and this time he accepted it. After the war, Leo left the army and returned to civilian life to resume his old job as a pipe fitter.
What?
With the start of the Korean War in 1950, the Canadian Army joined the United Nations forces in fighting the Communist Chinese and North Korean invasion of South Korea. Leo, though only 29 years old, was seen as a veteran with a special skill set and was recruited to rejoin the army and become a member of a special scout and sniper team. Then, in November 1951, the communists attempted to take some strategic important high ground just 40 miles away from Seoul, the South Korean capital. The fighting was based around the vitally important Hill 355, nicknamed Little Gibraltar, and Hill 277. Chinese troops had captured it from the Americans, and Leo was to recapture and hold the hill. The fighting raged for days, and the Canadian commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jacques Dextraz, declared, "In the event the battalion is attacked, there will be no withdrawal, no platoons overrun, and no panics."
Yeah, you can state that, but you never know what's going to happen. And in war, if you these orders are usually not given. This only happens in movies, usually, that stand your ground, whatever happens, you fight to the last man. Almost never happens, only in the very, very rare occasions, because in war, there are lines to fall back to, and this is how you save your men, and this is how you burn out the enemy. Wear out the enemy. That's the strategy, you know, that has worked always. So this is very rare, actually. It doesn't really happen.
During the battle, Leo commanded a unit of around 18 men, repelling whole Chinese divisions while enduring heavy artillery and mortar barrages for 3 days.
Ooh,
Even though Leo had been ordered to retreat when the Chinese divisions counterattacked, he refused. Instead, he demanded that the commander of the mortar platoon, Captain Charlie Forbes, rain mortar fire on the enemy. The mortar fire was so close to Leo's position that the commander could hear the bombs explode when Leo spoke on his radio. And it was so intense that the mortar barrels warped from their rate of fire. For his valor and leadership under fire, Leo was awarded another Distinguished Conduct Medal for capturing and holding the key hill. Leo was the only Canadian to win the Distinguished Conduct Medal in 2 separate wars. He lived a quiet life afterwards, and in 2008, at the age of 87, passed away.
Yeah, as much as I've watched these simple history videos about these heroes, they live to a very high age. 87 is a very high age. And if you've been to 2 wars and been a man like this, with a history like this, 87 is a very nice number to go. Yeah.
Having been married for 57 years, having 4 children.
Damn, this was an inspiring story. Leo Major, I salute you. Now, this might give wrong ideas to people. This romanticizes war. Usually people just die, but he didn't. He's an exception. So if people watch this and want to go to war and be like this and feel like they're in Call of Duty, doesn't really happen. I have to say this. Usually people just die. So yeah, he got lucky. Many times he just got lucky. It's not about, he's a god. No, just lucky. My friends, if you like this style of videos, please support the channel on Patreon. It really helps me directly. Sometimes videos get claimed, sometimes YouTube just demonetizes them because advertisers don't want their name to be associated with this violence that is in these videos, but that means I don't get paid. So if you can, support the channel on Patreon. As I mentioned, the 3 names in the beginning of the video, they did. I'm very happy about it. Thank you again. And you also, if you can, please do it. Also go and get this cool cup, it's really, look at it. Cute. No, it's not cute. Creepy, but still cool. Go and get it. And as always, my friends, until my next video, stay cool and bye bye.